Hi there and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to discuss my escape from Mayo. I was an unhappy Mayo customer for many long months and finally I got away from the company. First of all, just let me say that Mayo, I think like most companies, they don't make it tremendously easy for people to leave them. There are certain processes that you have to go through which are a bit bothersome, and if you look online at the Portuguese Reddit forums on Mayo, they're full of people who are complaining about the fact that they can't escape, basically, or it's very, very difficult to escape. So I was one of those people and I tried to navigate this as best I could. Obviously, I wasn't very happy with the service that I had from Mayo. I had satellite, TV, internet, and also fixed line phone from Mayo. I never used TV. I never used the fixed line phone. It was just part of a package that they gave me. I only wanted to get internet. But the problem was the internet kind of sucked. You know, it was all right when it worked. The problem was they often didn't. You know, the setup that they gave me was that I've got a router in my home, and on the roof I've got a satellite and also some other kind of box which is stuck to a chimney and draws its power from inside the house. Now, the problem was that the system just froze often, you know, like twice a day. And you would have no warning, you know, the internet would just seize up, like you'd be on a call or something, it would just like seize. Very, very frustrating. And the instructions that I was given by the person who installed the Mail system were, in my opinion, ridiculous. He told me that if it froze like this, what I should do is I should cut the general power circuit for the house. So basically that's the circuit breaker which controls the power for the entire house, so the fridge and all the clocks and everything like that. I should switch that off, wait for 5 minutes, switch it back on, and it will probably be okay. Now, he was right. There was never once where that didn't work. But I was having to do this every day or twice a day sometimes, which meant, you know, your fridge was going on and off, your bomba de calor, which is the heating system, the heat pump system that I have here, was going on and off. All the clocks had to be reset on the oven and the microwave and everything like that once or twice a day. It was just really irritating. You know, although there was no problem with the actual speed of the service, you know, when it worked, I could watch YouTube with my wife watching YouTube, I could game, I could do lots of stuff. It was no problem with the speed. The problem was that the system just kept on freezing and there was no resolution to that. The resolution was that I should switch it on and off a few times a day maybe. And to be honest, I just got sick of it. Who wants to do that? I mean, realistically, who would live with that situation? I got fed up. When I found an alternative, which was Starlink, I moved over to that as soon as I could, as soon as that was viable for me. Now, if you want to get away from Mayo, there are a few ways that definitely don't work. Most people, most foreigners around me, have had Mayo at one time or another in their life. And I can tell you this company is hated. I mean, there are people around here that just despise Mayo so much, far more than me. It's actually unbelievable. I have one neighbour, and I'm sure if Mayo came out tomorrow and said, look, we've discovered the cure for cancer, guys, and we're going to distribute it for free to everyone in the world, he would still hate Mayo. Okay, there's just no way that that guy's ever going to accept Mayo as a good company ever again after all the experiences he had. They actually tried to sue him. The problem arises because you can't cancel the contract easily. You know, I think Mayo, in my opinion, they make it deliberately difficult and complicated to cancel the contract, especially for non-Portuguese speakers. You can't cancel it over the phone, which doesn't make sense because Mayo tried to do everything over the phone being a telephone company. Yeah, but you can cancel the contract over the phone. And the other alternative is that people will go to the Mayo store. You know, that's maybe where they signed up for the service initially, was in the Mayo store. So there are Mayo stores in lots of shopping malls in most cities around the country. And they'll go there and say, hey, I want to terminate the contract. Nope. They can't do it there either. The only ways to do it are sending a recorded delivery letter to the Mayo headquarters and probably you should use the designated form that Mail supply for this. Or there is a system called My Mail on the internet that you can register for, and within that you can go in and you can create a request to cease service, basically to end the service. And then ask you the reasons why. There are a variety of choices. If you want to get out of a fidelity period, if you want to get out of a loyalty period without paying, then you basically have to have died or lost your job or be emigrating or something like that. You can do it in theory because the service wasn't good enough, and that's the argument most people have, but it's very difficult to prove. Mail tend not to accept the evidence which is presented based on the experience of people around me. And so, yeah, you can do it online, but you're probably going to pay a breakup fee, for breaking the contract with the company. I paid it. I didn't want to argue with them about, the fact it needed reset all the time. I just wanted out, man. I just wanted this company out of my life, and I wanted to get as far away from them as possible, as soon as possible. I only had another 5 months left on my contract, so the breakup fee only came to like 65 euros or something. So I would pay that just to be free from Mail. No problem at all. So I actually ended my service through the online form. I filled it out and sent my ID and a request to terminate the service to them. You had to verify. They send you an email code to verify that you actually want out of the service. You fill that in and then it will go through. And this will be created in the messages section of the Mail website, basically. And a few days later, I got a response basically saying that it had been processed with success. And then it was just a mystery. I don't know what was going on, like what do I do with the equipment, anything like that. So I called them up, and Mail, the person on the phone told me, oh, you've got a choice. Someone can come and pick it up, or you can take it back to the Mail shop. And I thought, oh, well, that's fine. I'll wait for someone to come and pick it up then. And then a few days later, I got a letter basically saying that the contract had been terminated. It was from a company called Altice, not exactly Mail. I think it might be the parent. And in that letter, they told me I have to send back the equipment, and they gave me a price list for the equipment. Now, some of this equipment I didn't have, so I felt, well, I don't know about this. So I called them again. It turned out it was just a general letter that they sent to everybody. And this time on the phone, the assistant told me that no, they wouldn't pick it up and I would have to take it back. And I thought, oh, well, that's not very convenient, is it? So I just thought, well, okay, we still have more than a month basically for the contract to run, because they had charged me for the month that I'm in. Even though I informed the company sometime before the renewal date for the contract, they still charged me for the next month, which I'm sure was their intention. Anyway, a couple of days later, I got another letter asking me to send back the equipment. And it was actually asking for even more equipment. So then I called Mail up again, and I said, what's going on with this? And they said, oh, you can get somebody to pick it up, or you can send it back. And I said, look, I've been told that people can pick it up. I've been told they can. I don't want to mess around with that. I just want to send it back. I want to send it back now. I said, I've got my Starlink working. I no longer need this Mail equipment. I'm happy to pay the contract breakup fee. Just direct debit it from my account. Just do it. And I want to take this equipment and I want to fire it back to you right now. I said, just tell me where to go. And they said, oh, you can't take it back. I said, why not? And he said, oh, you have to take it back after the contract finishes. And I said, look, I just want to take it back now. Please just let me get rid of this stuff. I just don't want it anymore. And they're like, no. You have to keep the stuff until October the 6th, and only on October the 7th can you take it back. And I said, well, fine. Okay, right, great. Not great, actually, because it was like a month later. I said, okay, fine, where do I take it? And can I take it there? Oh no, you can't take it there. Why not? Because they don't have technical support. So then I found a Mail shop that I could take it to, which was actually in Pombal. And I made an appointment online, and that system was very, very good. Confirmed using the phone number, etc. And then you arrive in the shop, put your phone number in, and then you're basically first in the queue. You've got an appointment. It works out very, very well. So I made that appointment in Pombal, and I went there to return the equipment. And I got an assistant who was Brazilian and didn't speak any English. Not that I'm criticizing the fact that someone doesn't speak English in Portugal, because it isn't an English-speaking country, okay? But I will say that my previous experience of dealing with both Meo and Vodafone is that the employees were Portuguese and they did speak English. You know, my Portuguese is not bad, and ultimately I did communicate with this lady fine, you know, it was all right. But it's a technical thing, you know this. We're talking about aspects of contract law, we're also talking about the equipment and that kind of thing. It's not like A2 level Portuguese, you know, or even B1 level Portuguese. So it was a little bit complicated. It wasn't easy, but I talked with her. Also, the Brazilian Portuguese way of speaking, the pronunciation is maybe a little bit different, and I'm not used to it. But anyway, I communicated with this lady. It took me about half an hour in the shop to return the equipment, and there weren't any evident delays. It just took that long for her to, you know, punch in all the numbers and stuff like that. Anyway, I returned all the equipment to the shop, and it's very, very important when you do that you get a receipt from them, a declaration that they received the equipment. Fine, I got that. They got it all back. I breathed a sigh of relief. I drove home. 3 days later in the mailbox, I got another letter from Mail saying, you better return the equipment. And then the day after that, I got another one. So I called them up and I said, please, just leave me alone, you know. I've given the stuff back. I told them where I'd given it back, and I got the letter. I gave the reference number, everything like that. And they said, oh yeah, I'm sorry, yeah. In this case, yes, you have returned it. And I just said, please confirm that all I have to pay is this, you know, 60-something euro breakup fee now. That's the final payment. That will be it. I won't hear from you anymore. And the woman went away, and like 2 minutes later, she said, yes, I've confirmed everything. In this case, that will be all. It will come out on this date, which was the 29th of October, I think. It was debited with success. I checked it in the banking app, and that should be it over. I hope. But you never know with Mayo, they could come back with something else. I really hope not. But it's happened before, you know, in the middle of my contract, suddenly I noticed that I got charged like an extra €5 a month. And I called them up and I said, hey, you know, why am I being charged this extra €5 a month? And they said, oh, it's because you've got 2 TV boxes. And TV boxes which I never used. I'm like, no, I don't. I only have one. I only have one television. I'm not a big TV watcher. What I do watch is mainly Netflix. And they said, oh, it must be a mistake then. And then they just took it off. Just as well I noticed that, because it was just like this weird, bizarre charge which just appeared out of nowhere. Another thing to note with most of these companies like Mayo is that they do increase the price every year, supposedly in line with inflation, or maybe a little bit more than that. So that's something to be expected. I mean, the amount that you agree on, I agreed on $36.50 when I signed the contract, and ultimately it went up over $38. So the amount that you agree on will change. Every year there will be a price rise. That's something to expect. Just as a general commentary, I wasn't very impressed with the product that I received from Mayo. They gave me what I would describe as the shittest modem router ever. It was so bad that when I replaced it with a TP-Link router that I got off Amazon, it just completely transformed the internet. They give me basically crap equipment. The customer service is polite enough, but confused. On the one hand, some customer service agents told me that I could get the equipment picked up by mail. On the other hand, people told me no, that was impossible. I would have to take it back to the shop. I think it's confusing, and I didn't like that. I also didn't love the fact that I suddenly got charged €5 extra per month for something I didn't have, or that the company insisted on charging me an extra, basically €38 for a month, in which I didn't want to use the service. and basically prolonged the period for contract cancellation, in my opinion, as long as they possibly could to extract the maximum from it. But you know, at the end of the day, it is what it is. It was an escape. It was a successful escape. It cost me 60 odd euros to get away from Mail. I think it was somewhere in the region of 69, because as well as the contract breakup fee, there was some other little bit of contract, like 4 or 5 euros or something, that they somehow added on. I didn't even bother to query it. At that stage, it's just, you know, it's game over for me. I just want out. I'm not going to argue with them over a few euros. I just want away from them. So my advice would be that if someone is considering contracting with Mail, probably stay away from the Mail satellite service, because it really is hit and miss. I know a lot of other expats who are just very, very frustrated with their service, and they're looking for other options, or have, in one case, even been threatened with legal action by Mail. So yeah, it's not great. I wouldn't recommend the company to anyone who wasn't my worst enemy. And I have Starlink now. It is much, much better. I don't have TV with Starlink. I don't miss it at all because I never used it, and nor do I have a landline phone. I didn't use that either. So for me, Starlink solved all my problems, and Mail was just a mistake. Alright, well that'll do it for this video. I hope people found it enjoyable and interesting. Please let me know in the comments below if you've had any good or bad experiences in dealing with Mail, and if you've had trouble like I did in getting away from the service if you wanted to cancel a contract or just stop a contract at the end of the contractual period. I would be very interested to know that information. So that'll do it, and I will see you soon in the next video.